My name is John Ryman. I'm the former recording secretary of Carpenters Local 713 in Hayward, California. And I was expelled from the union for my role in our Wildcat strike in 1999. If you ever look at my email address, that's why it's 1999 Wildcat. It's a really exciting and a great privilege to be here today, because I believe that the sisters and brothers and the carpenters up here are really leading the entire labor movement, which is to say they are actually leading the working class in this country. That might sound like a big statement, and it is, but you think about the reality of it. So, for the last 4 months, the leadership of your council has been arguing not that they can't get a higher raise, they've been arguing they don't want a higher raise. It's true, you can laugh about it, but they say, well, we need to recapture market share. Well, let's think about what that actually means. What that actually means is that you, brother, are nothing but a box of cornflakes, and you have to compete, they have to compete with Kellogg's to sell you as cornflakes cheaper than Kellogg's cornflakes.
I'm not the time.
That's what, or you could say a Ford automobile or whatever. That's what this market share is. In reality, that union carpenters have to compete with non-union carpenters for who can work cheaper. That is the exact opposite of the whole purpose of a union.
The race to the bottom.
And it's the race to the bottom, exactly. Because if you take a pay cut or hold your pay down, then the non-union is going to do the exact same. Then you have to take another pay cut. That's the race to the bottom. And we see that between union and non-union carpenters. We see that in the auto industry, and we see that internationally, where they say, well, American auto workers have to compete with the auto workers in China or Mexico or wherever. Not that we all join together and raise wages, everybody together, we have to compete. Well, let's look at how that has actually been working for us as carpenters. And you know how it's been working as far as your ability to live where you work. It's not working at all. Well, in 1969, which is right when I joined the Carpenters Union, 80% of the construction dollar was spent union. By 1979, that figure was cut in half to 40%. And anybody that's been around here for any length of time can tell you how there didn't used to be, like when you look at all the cranes around, you looked at a crane, you found a union job. That's not true anymore. It's the same in Oakland, it's the same in New York City, it's the same in Chicago. So their whole strategy has been a dismal failure any way that you count it. And when I say that you're leading the entire working class, what we are seeing, that whole market share strategy, they may not say it in that many words, but every single union leadership in the entire country of every single union is playing that same game. And so what you are doing, so we've had this logjam. And what you are doing, hopefully, is breaking up, being a first step to breaking up that logjam. Now, I've heard some things about the union strategy for the strike and so on, and it doesn't make any sense. Well, that's wrong. It makes a lot of sense when you realize that they are on record as saying they don't want you to win higher pay. That is what their strategy is all about, to wear you out and tire you out so that you don't win higher pay. Now, as far as the project labor agreements, I was steward on a project labor agreement down in Oakland, this is years ago, and you know, the project labor agreement is an agreement that guarantees that the whole job will be run union. Well, lo and behold, here comes some non-union workers on the job. Personally, I've never worked on a job that the contractor didn't violate the contract in some way or another. But anyway, so the business agents fussed and fumbled around for a while. Finally, the carpenters threatened to walk. The next day, all those guys, they were off the job, the whole thing went union. So the project labor agreements, we had this wildcat strike in 1999. The biggest job that was the heart of our strike, the heart and soul, the very center of it, the San Francisco International Arrivals Terminal, which was the biggest job in the country at the time, that was a project labor agreement. So we didn't give a damn about all that no strike business and all of that kind of stuff. And my belief is, if the unions fight for the members will be the project labor agreement. We will be the ones that will shut it down, or even better, organize those non-union to come onto the job. So I think myself, if I was here and I was on a project labor agreement, I'd be trying to get everybody off the job, and not only off the job, but go out and picket the goddamn job. There's no difference, it's all the same contractors. They're all in it together. So that's how I see it. Now there's something else, and that's this business of secrecy. You don't know what they're talking about. Well, you know, but you don't know specifically. So all you're left to do is to react once you get the news. Who is being kept out of the loop here, and who's in the loop? The contractors know what's being said. The business agents know what's being said. So this is secrecy. They're keeping a secret from you, from the membership. So this is a bunch of bull. All these negotiations, any union member of your union should be able to sit in and listen to what's going on in these negotiations. So just in conclusion, all of this stuff, what I've been saying and what Art's been saying about how this thing is being run, about market share, no good union member should ever use that term market share when we're talking about ourselves as a union and as workers. All this stuff that's being said, as I said, the only difference between what's happening in the carpenters and what's happening in AFSCME, what's happening in UFCW, if you're a grocery clerk, whatever, is the difference. It's like the difference between vanilla and strawberry ice cream. They're both ice creams, slightly different flavor, but it's the same thing. And if you sisters and brothers can break this logjam, you know there's a logjam in society as a whole. And if you can break this logjam with what's happening in our union, and use that as an example, if that serves as an example for the rest of the working class. And incidentally, I would urge you, when you go shopping, talk to your grocery clerks. If you happen to ride on public transit, talk to the drivers. Let everybody know what is going on here. And if you all can break this logjam, then that will break the logjam that exists in the American working class and American society. So I say, victory to the carpenters, victory to all workers in this country, and victory to workers all around the world. Thank you.